Again, here coming back at you with another video. Today we have some more prospect breakdowns. We are doing Bryce Love of the Stanford Cardinal. And first and foremost, it's not like dead set whether many of these prospects will come out. Many of them are juniors or redshirt sophomores, which is essentially the same thing, where they are eligible to come out, but they don't necessarily have to. Bryce Love, I believe, is one of those players. I think he's a junior. And today we're going to look at him. He's been a highly requested prospect, one of the most highly requested on my last video. And if you guys want me to change around the format of the way I do these, please leave your recommendations down in the comment section below. It was very helpful last time. I've changed some things, so much to include player comparisons and things of that nature. But we are going to be taking a look at Bryce Love, his game against UCLA, where he had for 30 carries, 263 yards, and 1 touchdown. We're not going to be looking at much of his blocking here. I wouldn't grade that too highly, though. He's not really in on a lot of blocking downs, but we will get to that when we get to the grades in the end. Let's go ahead and watch some of this here. So he's going to be lined up, split as a tailback, take the handoff, be patient, find the gap. Now, Bryce Love has been somewhat amazing in terms of the amount of yardage that he does get, but if we slow this down, we take a look at it at 0.5 speed, and then truly look at what he has available here. Let's take it and pause it right here. He has an entire side of the field to work with. His vision, I would say, is below average in a lot of areas. He has a ton of field to work with. There's literally no one over here. And if he could have just split it outside, he would have gotten, I would say, at least 25 yards. But instead he cuts it inside, just follows his blocks, and somehow runs it for 8 or 9 yards. It's a good run. I don't know how he got that many yards, but the blocking of the Stanford Cardinal is really, really good, and I think a lot of that contributes to how many yards per game that he does end up getting. Obviously, the offensive line is going to play a big impact, and then we have a pretty good run. Not going to lie, we have a pretty good run here. What we're going to watch is off 72, the pulling guard, and he's going to follow him. 72 makes an incredible block, and it's just, he's so fast. Bryce Love's best attribute is undoubtedly his speed. He's so incredibly fast, but you see, he uses his speed to get around this block, and then he just outruns the diving defensive lineman, breaks a tackle, an arm tackle from the back from 99, and he's good. He just uses his speed. But to be honest, Bryce Love hasn't been so impressive to me because it's just mainly a lot of him following blocks or going nowhere when the blocking isn't good. That's my personal opinion. I think he's a little bit overhyped right now, but he is just so incredibly fast, so he does have that potential to take yards, or excuse me, take carries just to the house. But mainly it's just following blocks, following blocks, following blocks. I don't think he has a tremendous amount of individual talent aside from speed. I think his cuts are weak on a lot of accounts, so we're going to see that later. He does have some plays that really impress me, that not being one of them. Let's take another look. It's going to be inside zone type play off a handoff. This is a play that was pretty impressive for me, to be honest. Obviously, it was a decent amount of yardage picked up, so it's going to be more impressive than a lot of these plays that don't go as far. Let's take a look at this in slow motion so you guys can see exactly what I see and what I think he did right and what I maybe think he did wrong on this last play. So he's going to take the inside look here, and you're going to watch the guard and the tackle pull, and he's going to see this hole open up. That's the right hole to hit. He has the speed to hit it. He does. The safety came down and broke down. I feel like he could have went upfield. 99 is in there. He doesn't even seem like he cares about playing. Bryce Love is going to cut it back towards the sideline again and just use his speed, which is probably the right decision because he's so fast that he can get away with doing that. Whereas I think at the NFL level, when you have just more speed all over the field, I think that's going to be more difficult to do. Just bounce it out, bounce it out, bounce it out in all scenarios. But, decent run. Not too much to say on a poor account. It's good blocking. He's going to make a guy miss with his jump cuts. But his jump cuts are really weak, in my opinion. It's just such a fall from grace looking at Saquon Barkley and then looking at Bryce Love. I know Bryce Love is putting up better numbers right now, but but I just don't think it's going to translate as well at the NFL level. That's a pretty good jump cut there, and then he's just so fast. So fast. So he's going to turn plays that are maybe like 11, 12 yards into 17, 18, 19, 20 plus. So he is just so incredibly fast. So he has that ability to do that. Another zone read. He's going to take it. That's good vision. But another fantastic block by the wide receiver coming across the field. But it's just... I don't really think he has the ability to make a lot of men miss from an elusive standpoint. This is excellent. This is my favorite play of the entire game right here. We're going to take another look at it. I'm not sure they're going to show a replay. I have watched this already. I've been watching them, so I know exactly what to tell you guys. But we'll take a look here. It's another inside kind of zone read. You see the offensive lineman pull, set up incredible blocks. He is patient, just finding the areas that are open. Just being so patient, quickly moving. But it's a lot of arm tackling, and then by the time someone finally wraps up, he does carry them for a few yards, and that is good. Again, that was probably my favorite play of this entire game versus UCLA. And there is going to be a replay. But it's just incredible blocking for the most part. It's just weird arm tackles. Any running back should be able to break those tackles. So it's not incredibly impressive to me that Bryce Love is breaking these tackles. Here he is as a receiver, catches it with his body. Not a huge fan of that. But he is a running back. He's not going to have the best hands in the world. I don't know what his hands are, because I think this is one of the only... I think that might be the only catch he has the entire game, at least in this bit of tape. So it's really hard to get a good grade on his hands when I see him make one catch and it's with his body for this particular game. We're going to move ahead a little bit here, though. Actually, no, we're good. Here he is running out of eye for him. It's going to be some kind of a pitch, which is weird. And he is doing pretty well to make some men miss there. And he is, I think, deceptively strong in a lot of ways, because he does carry people for a yard or two to get that extra yard, which is critical in some situations. But a lot of it is if the blocking isn't there, he's doing nothing. So I think for the best position for Bryce Love to succeed at the NFL level is get behind a good offensive line. Maybe a situation. I think he'd be a great New England Patriot. They can, help out his hands, get him involved in the passing game, set up good blocks, and he just needs to be fast. And I feel like as a scat back, he would work really well in a system like the Patriots. And he does have, underrated power. But I do have a couple problems we're going to get to here in a minute. I see he's going to power in near the end zone. They called it a yard short. But I do want to show you guys, I think it's a play coming up quite soon. But a lot of it, that was like 1 or 2 yards. Really nothing to it. We're back on 1st and 15. Here's going to be a handoff, Bryce Love. This is what I want to show you guys. It's great speed. You'd like to see him follow the block off the outside there, and he just doesn't do it. I wonder if they're going to show a replay on that. They should, yeah. Here it is. I feel like if he cuts that outside, then he should be good for a touchdown, but he just doesn't. He tries to go back inside when I feel like 19 could have picked up a block fairly easily, and he just doesn't do it. We'll take a look at it in slow motion. Again, we don't have all the angles, so we can't really, assess it as well as we'd be able to if we were actually on the field, something of that nature. But it's just so fast. He can run past 18, defensive back and a linebacker. But you see, if he doesn't decide to cut this up the middle here, which I'm not really sure why he does that. That's incredibly, incredibly poor vision. This could have been a block in the back. I doubt it. If you cut that off the back side of your receiver, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown any day of the week. He needs to really improve his vision at the next level if he's going to be successful. But I just don't really see a lot of it. I know he's really fast. I know people are going to be pissed because he's putting up yardage, and I'm giving him somewhat of a negative review. But I just don't think he's anything to write home about. Good college running back, we've seen that in the past. One of my favorite college players over the past decade or so was LaMichael James of the Oregon Ducks. Now, he's a different type of player. I wouldn't say he's as fast as Bryce Love in any regard, any respect. And I did love watching LaMichael James play, and I'm not saying you can't love watching Bryce Love play, but I just don't think he has the skill right now to translate to the NFL level, and I really don't think he's going to get better this year in college, because you see success, he's not going to change what he's doing, right? There's really no reason to. I do want to see one of these big gains here. And this is it. This is a play that looks very good just watching it now, seeing the result. Because that's a huge touchdown gain. Huge gain. But if we watch this play, and we're going to see a replay, we're going to watch it at 75% speed. And he does some things on this that are, I would say, a little bit concerning for me personally, scouting his ability. And let's go ahead and take a look at it here. It's one of his last plays of the game. He's going to get a weird pitch. I don't know what Stanford does that. And the commentator is saying he's something special. I really don't think so. That's not a good move. That's not going to work at the next level. I'm telling you. Like, he's just in a situation where I've never even seen a good running back do that. Where he breaks down like he's a safety instead of just cutting. I don't know if you guys see what I mean, so I'm gonna play it again. Instead of doing a jump cut like we would see Saquon Barkley do, or just planting and going faster, it's way easier to get from your top speed back after stopping with a cut than it is with a complete breakdown and then trying to run again. He is incredibly fast, so he gets away with it. And then you'll see on that cut right there, it's not sharp. It's really, really sloppy right here. It's going to come up. And he almost trips a bit. And I'm telling you, UCLA is playing slow out here. But right there, that is a very sloppy cut. He almost falls down. And he's lucky that defensive back fell down right there. I didn't really even see what happened. I don't think he made him miss with a move. I think he just he misread it, number 4 did. And then just over-pursued, tried to turn back. He broke his ankles somewhat inadvertently. Now, I'm not saying Bryce Love is bad in any regard, any respect. I said that twice now. Bryce Love isn't bad at all. He is good. I just don't think he's as good as everyone's saying he is right now. If he were to win the Heisman, which is a legitimate possibility, he's the only running back in college football with over 1,000 yards. I don't think he's even on the level of Saquon Barkley at all. Like, completely different levels. And now 30 rushes, 262 yards, and a touchdown looks incredible. That looks awesome. I just don't think he's as good as everyone is hyping him up to be right now. I think he has a number of flaws that he needs to work on, vision being one of them. I think his elusiveness is overrated. I don't really think he's that elusive. I think he's just following good blocks and is fast. Very, very, very fast. I would say talent-wise, we gave Saquon Barkley a top 5 pick. I think Bryce Love is a 2nd to 4th rounder. I would say he could go anywhere in that range. If we go over and we look at his abilities from a grade standpoint, I would say his speed is definitely a 10 out of 10. His agility, I would say, I would grade as like a 7 out of 10, so not too high. I would say his hands are I'm not sure, let's say a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10. It's hard to say. We'll give him a 7 out of 10. He did catch the pass, but he did catch it with his body. It really wasn't a great use of hands. It's when you're looking at him and you're like, all right, here's the play. It's very simple. All you have to do is catch this pass. Catching with your body isn't the worst thing. It really isn't. But when you're looking at it from the standpoint of, hey, you're going to be an actual receiving back in the NFL, it really doesn't work out as much. His acceleration, I would say, is a 10. He goes from his stop speed to his start speed, or not start speed. You guys get what I'm saying. He starts and stops very quickly. He gets back up to that top speed very quickly, and that's part of what makes him so good at this level. His balance, I would say, overall is pretty poor. I would give him a 6 or 7 out of 10 on balance. We'll give him a 6 because you don't see him like Saquon Barkley is. And I keep saying Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley is one of the best players I've ever seen. That's just a fact. He's so good in every department. And you guys can see that Saquon Barkley video. It's in the playlist for these NFL draft prospect breakdowns. But yeah, Bryce Love doesn't often bounce off tackles. He does break arm tackles, but it's not difficult to break arm tackles when people are just putting their hands on your thighs and your shoulders. Those are tackles you have to run through, and if you're fast enough, you're going to. Vision is a 6. I am not really impressed with his vision by any means. I think his patience, I would rate at about a 7. He has shown patience, but a lot of time it's just, see what's there, run as fast as you can to get there, and if it's not there, you're shit out of luck. His blocking, again, I've looked at it a little bit in other games. He didn't really do much of it in this game. I would give it about a 6 out of 10, which isn't terrible for a running back. You're going to see low run block grades. I'm probably not going to give many below a 5. It's going to be probably like 5 to 10. And he is a 6, so that is at the lower end of that. And then his elusiveness, I would say, is probably at like a 7 or an 8. I'd give him a 7. So, that math can do whatever it is. I don't even know what it is right now. You guys are going to see it on the screen, obviously. I'm just kind of making up these grades as I go along, just thinking about his overall ability, what I see on tape, what's there for me. So you guys do see his overall grade. Saquon Barkley was a 94 overall, which is extremely high. I don't think I'm going to give out any 95s out of 100. It really depends for the other positions, but I think Bryce Love is probably a mid-round pick, as high as the second round because his amazing numbers he's putting up. But I think he's probably a third-round talent. But thank you guys for watching the video. Please let me know who else I should do in the comments section down below. And I will see you in the next one. Take it easy.